Hi, this is Ashley with My Amelia Photoshop Actions. For today's tutorial, I am going to walk you through a basic edit using My Amelia Basics. This is going to be split into a few parts because I'm going to start with basics and then I'll continue on the same photo with the model makeover actions. I'm going to be using this picture of my daughter Amelia. It's one of my favorite pictures. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. So, My Amelia Basics has, I think, 16 actions that are just very basic touch-ups that you can apply to almost any photo. So, there's Clear as a Bell, which is a clarity action. Out of the shadows, it lightens up dark shadows in photos where you need that. Lighten up is an all-over lightening. Make it darker is the opposite. It's an all-over darkening. Up the contrast. Ouch, that's sharp is an all-over sharpening action, and that sharp right there is selective sharpening, so you can sharpen certain areas of your picture. Color boost is an all-over color boost, obviously. It's getting hot in here, that's warming. Burr, so cool, is cooling. Pop, pop, pop is a selective color boost, so that you can just brush it on the areas that you need. Blowout recovery is when you have hot spots in your picture. You take it in bright sunlight and you've got an area of the face that's just, you can't even see the features, it's so blown out. You use this one to kind of try to retrieve that. Shine a light right there lightens up, it's a selective lightening, so you can lighten up certain areas that are too dark. Dark spots is the opposite. And then we have these 3 fill lights, and it kind of acts like an off-camera light. And there's left, right, and center. There's a basic black and white. And Facebook, it resizes for Facebook, although Facebook keeps changing their size requirements. So, it resizes for the web pretty well, but just pay attention to what Facebook is asking for at that point in time. Okay, so we are going to start with Clear as a Bell. You just click on it and run. Okay, and basically what clarity does is it makes the details a little more sharp, or clear, I guess. Bring that up to 50. We don't need that. I'm going to lighten up a little bit. Oh, and I try to flatten after every action I run because some of the actions work on a flattened photo, and if you have other actions up, it'll run off of that and it messes everything up. So just flatten every time. Lighten up. There we go. Take it just a little bit higher. Okay, up the contrast. That might be. Let's drop that down to 20. Then ouch, that's sharp. I run a sharpening action on every photo, even the ones for print, and then I run usually an extra one for the web. And the Facebook action has the extra sharpening included in it. But ouch, that's sharp is just all over. And you can see the difference there. And we will do a color boost. Which I'm loving what that does to the background. It's a little too much on the face. So this is what layer masks are for, this little white box over here. Make sure that's selected, and then choose a black brush, and maybe about halfway. Go ahead and just brush that over the areas that you don't want the color boost on. Okay, and we're going to warm it up a little bit with it's getting hot in here. Okay, now we're going to use our selective sharpening, that's sharp right there, and we're going to sharpen her eyes, nose, and mouth. Now I have a similar selective sharpening tool in the model makeover, so when we do that we won't need to use it, but I like to make sure it's in both of the basic sets because it's really important to do this. So drop this down to 30, make sure it's white, and see how the layer mask is black. That means that the effect is being blocked off of the entire photo, and you're just going to brush it onto the areas where you want it. So you want a white brush. Here we go. Okay. Now, what I like to do on almost every photo is use a center fill light. That gives it just a little bit of depth. And it creates a little bit of a subtle vignette. So you can see what that does. Okay. And then we're going to use pop, pop, pop on the background for a little bit more color boost. And about 30%. And you can also use pop, pop, pop on the clothing. Okay, now that's a basic edit with basics. Real quick, it greatly enhances the photo. I'll show you the original. There's how we started, and that's how we're finishing up, just with basics. Okay, so we will start part 2 with model makeover. Okay. There's several actions in here. We won't use them all today, but they all work basically the same. Most of them are paint on actions, which means that there's going to be a black layer mask and you're going to use a white brush to paint them on where you need them. Sharpen features, we already did that with basics. Like I said, I include that tool in both. So we won't do it here, but it's a selective sharpening tool. You brush it over the facial features. Okay, Jeepers Those Peepers is an eye pop. Now my daughter has gorgeous blue eyes, but I'm just going to show you how it works. I probably won't leave it on, but about 30%, and it just brightens up right around the iris and makes it a little more intense. But because her eyes are already pretty intense, let's see if I like it at all. Put it about 10%. Doesn't make much difference, it's just a subtle pop. Okay, whiter whites. Now, most people have a little bit of redness in the whites of their eyes, or a little bit of yellow, especially adults. But what you'll notice is when you're editing your photo, sometimes if you run a warming action or a haze action, you're going to get that color on the eyes. And I mean, you can brush it off, but if you don't do that, then whiter whites will whiten those areas. And most of my actions are designed for a brush opacity of about 30% for a more natural look. You can increase it if you want to, but I don't suggest it on this one. And hers just got a little bit of color from the warming action, but there's the difference on that. Okay. Now, Like a Baby's Bottom is a skin smoothing action. And the first thing that you want to do before you run it is smooth out the areas or get rid of, you know, blemishes. My daughter has a little bit of, I don't know, food or dirt on her face, which is her usual state of being. So, and I'm using my clone stamp to remove those. Make sure that you select from an area right next to what you're trying to cover up so that you get the most natural effect possible. You can also use a spot healing brush for blemishes. It's just a matter of preference. Do we have some dirt on our nose, sweetheart? Yes, of course we do. Now I don't mind dirt on her face in pictures because it just shows that she's a kid, but since I'm showing you how to use Model Makeover, and sometimes when you want a picture for your wall, you don't necessarily want dirt. So, skin smoothing, like a baby's bottom. Go ahead and run that, and it actually takes a little while to run because it's doing several things. And about 50% on your brush opacity. Just avoid the features. You sharpened those, you don't want to smooth them out. So just go around. It's very subtle, but show you again. Just a little bit smoother. Okay, now obviously I won't use these on my daughter because they're makeup effects. Powder, however, is a good one if you have a shiny spot. You can use powder to cover the spot, to blend it in with the rest of the skin. It can also smooth out uneven tones, but I don't use it on every photo. I mean, it has to be a pretty shiny spot. You can use it for under eye circles. I prefer Clone Stamp, but it does work for under eye circles. Okay. Now, one thing that I use on adults a lot is paint on highlights, and that's just brightening certain areas, like think of it like makeup where you highlight your brow bones. I'll use it on the bottom lip to make the shine a little more intense. I'll put it in the hair to boost highlights in the hair. I don't usually use it on children, mostly women. And then Healthy Glow is one that you can use on anybody. It's a great one for brides. And this one, put about 20%. And just brush over the hair and the face. You can run it over the whole body, but we'll drop that down just a little bit. Okay. And that's the basics with Model Makeover. Like I said, I'll do another tutorial with an adult and show you some of the makeup effects, but this is a start to finish edit using the two basic sets from my Amelia Photoshop Actions. And we'll show you the start and finish. And there we have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.